Good morning, good day. So we're going to take a walk today down the road at the top of the property. Property begins here. And see, Larry has put out all these rounds from trees that have been cut down to help hold the soil in against the road. Because as you can see, it's a steep incline here. And you know, roads cost a lot of money. And this is considered a private road in the county. So, you know, it would cost a lot of money and everybody'd have to pitch in. So this is what, maybe the second or third year that Larry put these out here. And we see we have a lot of lichen growing on the rounds. Of course, that contributes to them deteriorating faster. But look at what we have going on here. You can see some trees have fallen. That might have fallen from over here on this side of the road, and somebody dragged it off and threw it over the side, is my guess. So we have ferns and peonies growing in here. Here's a hydrangea. Look at how much it's going to bloom here in just a moment. It's going to be great, huh? Hostas. Oh, here's a Lenten rose. Look at how beautiful that plant is. It's full size. It's probably 12, 14 inches tall and maybe 18 to 24 inches wide. And this is the third week of May, and we still have Lenten rose blooming. Isn't that marvelous? Usually they start around January and bloom for maybe 3 months or so, in our experience. That's more Lenten rose, where the blossoms have turned. Oh, we have some lupines. Oh, y'all, look at this. The water has beaded up on the plants. Isn't that gorgeous? And these yellow flowers that come out in the spring are so lovely. Let's see if we can get a close-up of something here. That lupine is what? About 3.5 feet tall? Maybe 3 feet. Some grasses. Looks like the irises are gone. Oh, look at this bed of these beautiful, beautiful. You know, after the winter, when everything is gray and dormant and there's no color in the garden, you know, unless you have shrubs that have color to them, it's such a feeling of hope when you see all the color. And these are perennials. These things come back every year. This is the money plant. It self-seeds itself, of course. I think it has a 2-year cycle. Last year they were absolutely spectacular everywhere in white and lavender. So my brother has reinforced this roof in the last few months, I think before it got cold. And these are all things that have come back. These are not perennials. These are perennials. Okay, I'm going to show you the inside of the greenhouse. It's empty. He's pulled everything out and distributing it around the garden, and we'll get some things planted, etc., etc. But here's the greenhouse. English, this ivy's taken over. I don't know that he did as many cuttings for starting plants this year. He usually does anywhere from 2,000 to 4,000 of the New Guinea impatiens and impatiens period. Okay, so we've been following these 3 hydrangea bushes, Persian blue, and that is the most blossoms we have ever seen. Now that's the original bush. There's a second one, and there's a little one down there that's got about 3 or 4 blossoms on it. That was the smallest one. I had no confidence it was going to survive, but I think this is its 2nd year, and it's doing fine. And look at how much there is in that small one. Ah, just incredible. So behind these hydrangeas are the forsythia bushes that are so bright yellow in the spring. They go down the hill that way. Moss garden needs weeding. After rain's the best time. Oh, look at here. I need to stake this up, don't I? I'm blanking what this is called at the moment. It has big, huge, lunch plate size red blooms. And they often take so long to break dormancy that you think you've lost your plant. And these are already so big. That's fantastic. My family has been out here, Larry and Joy have been out here putting out mulch. Let's see if you can see the rose bushes. There's a little bit of a rose bush coming through there. This is the butterfly bush that we replaced about 2 years ago after we had that -2 for 2 days in a row that just killed things. So caution, it was not my decision to replace this with another butterfly bush. You need, when you're planning your garden and your structure, the things that are going to come back every year or stay throughout the season, you need to plan for worst case scenario, which is like every 20 years the zone is going to drop down maybe more than it usually, what it's advertised as being your limit. And because you're going to lose things. We lost a beautiful, it was twice that size, butterfly bush. This is my oak hydrangea. It turns all those beautiful colors in the fall. My cannas are starting to come up. These azaleas are pretty much done. They'll bloom twice in the season. Peonies have already come and gone. They love this spot. They're doing so great. And this is another kind of hydrangea that's coming into blossom. I've got this pot potted up with some coleus. And those come back every year. Hardy geraniums, I believe they're called. And this is our heuchera bed. You know, I planted this about 3 years ago with the Proven Winners hydrangeas that do well both in sun and shade. And they grew to be like 3 feet tall, and I did swaths of color. It was absolutely magnificent. But you know, it's a lot of work to put out enough plants to fill this space up. And of course, I'm planning to make my garden as trouble-free as possible. Planning for things that will continue to grow. And these heuchera are taking hold. So I think I've lost three, but you know, I did buy some of those little 4-inch pots that aren't always, and I think I've bought at least one more. Are those jack-in-the-pulpits or trilliums, those green things coming up there? These are getting ready to bloom. You can't see it very well. Oh, this one's blooming, you can see. We don't grow them for the flowers. It's interesting, but we grow them for the foliage. And the foliage stays in full color through the winter. And these leaves, some of these leaves are years old because they didn't die. They just make new ones that come out from the center at the bottom. Here's our Persian shield and our polka dot plant. See where we planted them in pots, and then we took them into the greenhouse and just came back outside and dropped them in. Just dropped them in. Okay. Well, here's our daffodil, our big daffodil garden. And as you can see, it's dying back now. And the hardy geraniums are coming up again. And we have a beautiful, when I first moved in here, I spent money and had Proven Winners send me out plants that were supposed to get 3.5 feet in diameter and maybe 2 feet high. And they're finally getting some size on them. I had to replace this tall thing in the center. This area really doesn't get enough sun. The daffodils are shorter every year. And it's because they don't get full sun. They get full sun until the trees leaf out. And then, you know, it is what it is. The family has mowed the lawn. It looks beautiful, doesn't it? So I'm not planting anything along here where the mulch is because I had impatiens growing in here last year. And they should have self-seeded, and we'll expect them. I'm hoping and praying that they come back like they did last year. There might be another month or so before we see growth. It looks like things are just coming up, but I don't know that I recognize the impatient leaves. So this is the tail end of this plant. Let's see if I can get it where you can see it. This is called a wood stick orchid, and it's been here for about 6 weeks. See, it grew about 18 inches tall, and let's see if we can get in even closer. That's the end of the season for the blossoms. So we have hostas that have, these were put in the first year I moved here, so that's like 6 years ago at least. My sister-in-law planted these along the edge here, and they were so puny. And the truth is, the dirt has fallen down the hill over this pavement here, over this, and probably at least a foot. So if I took a stick and went straight down, I'd run into these the stone, and I gave them absolutely no. It was part of the reason why I came in and planted so much moss. I went out in the garden and harvested moss from the woods to plant in here. And I also bought Scotch and Irish moss, which aren't technically moss. Moss lives on the surface, and these have roots that go down 8 inches, and I thought that would be good for holding the soil. And a lot of that has kind of gone away. And this plant here has just spread like crazy. Do you see this? It has little yellow blossoms. And it has spread throughout the garden here. It was here to start with, I believe. I didn't plant this. And it's moved all the way up. And it also here is this Kew garden here. And you see how it's fading away? Well, as soon as the sun gets strong and some heat on it, it just kind of disappears. But it has a root system, and it does not, next year it'll come back twice as strong. It's really amazing. And I'm not, at this point, worried about it crowding out my hostas or my moss. I'm just going to kind of let nature take its course and decide which thing is going to do. That's doing well. I even have a rose here. Someone gifted me a rose, and I planted it out here, and look at it, it's doing all right. And I've had several blossoms on it already. Well, you know, the bear comes down this path every day. He knocks my blue chair out of the way about every week or 10 days. Well, we have chores to do. This is a long enough one. I visit to the garden. We've got the Lenten rose garden up there. We have pots to plant. We have lots to do. We have our asparagus fern got out here. As you can see, I have things to plant. I had some sort of mealy bug infestation on my plants, and I had to spray like crazy. I think we rescued our plants in time. So we have lots to do here in the garden today. And thank you so much for sharing with me today. I appreciate it. Y'all take care.